Welcome to today's deep dive. We're really thrilled to have you here with us.
Yeah, we absolutely are.
Usually, when you tune in, we are wading through a massive stack of research papers.
Or those really sick nonfiction books.
Right, exactly. Or, I don't know, hours of documentary footage. And we synthesize all that material to give you the most crucial nuggets of insight.
That's the usual heavy lifting.
But today, however, our entire source material lake, the entire universe we are exploring today, is just a single image.
Which is a pretty massive departure from our usual format.
It really is. It's this striking piece of digital artwork featuring a profound philosophical quote, and it's attributed to a creator who goes by the name Iva Shavicki.
It truly serves as a testament to how much weight a single, well-crafted piece of media can actually carry.
Oh, for sure.
You don't always need a 300-page book to confront a massive philosophical concept.
Definitely not.
Sometimes, an image and just a few carefully chosen words can do the heavy lifting in a fraction of a second. It bypasses the logical brain entirely and hits the emotional core immediately.
Yeah, it hits you right away.
However, while the source is brief, just taking it in at a mere glance is completely insufficient. It demands a really rigorous, close reading.
Which is exactly what we're going to do.
Right. We have to scrutinize the artistic choices just as intensely as the literal text if we want to fully grasp the impact of what this creator is conveying.
I found myself, I was staring at this piece for a really long time, just absorbing the sheer weight of it.
It's heavy.
It is. The message is incredibly uncompromising. It forces you to ask some highly uncomfortable questions about your own life, your own mindset, and ultimately who is actually dictating your reality.
So what's our exact focus for today?
The mission of our deep dive today is to unpack this intense interplay between the visual landscape of the art and the written word. We are going to deconstruct exactly what this image is trying to tell us about personal responsibility.
And how we actually go about constructing the world we live in.
Exactly.
To accomplish that mission effectively, though, I think we should resist the urge to jump straight to the text.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Because the words do not exist in a vacuum. We really need to start with the environment that the creator, Iva Shavicki, has placed these words inside.
Setting the scene.
Right. The visual context is what provides the text with its immense gravity. It sets the psychological stage for the viewer before they even start reading.
Okay, let's unpack this, because if you are looking at this image, the very first thing that hits you before you process a single letter is this stark, dramatic split down the exact middle of the canvas.
Right down the center.
Yeah, it is a tale of two completely different realities occupying the exact same space.
It's very striking.
And I want to bypass the obvious interpretations here because we all recognize the classic motifs, right?
Sure.
The left side is the heaven landscape. You have the glorious sunburst breaking through the clouds, the lush green trees, the cascading waterfall, and the calm, reflective blue waters.
Very serene.
Very. And then you contrast this immediately with the right side, which is the hell landscape.
Right.
You've got this violently erupting volcano, dark, fiery smoke just blocking out the sky, rivers of glowing orange lava, and jagged, charred rocks.
Total apocalypse.
Exactly. And we don't need to over-explain that a waterfall represents peace and a volcano represents chaos. But what caught my attention, and frankly what bothered me at first, is the boundary between them.
What's fascinating here is the absolute nature of that dichotomy.
Yes.
When you examine the dividing line between these two landscapes, there is zero transition zone.
Not at all.
It is a razor-thin, uncompromising vertical split. The artist outright refuses to offer a middle ground.
Which is so jarring.
It is. There is no gray area, no moderately pleasant meadow that slowly fades into a slightly annoying thunderstorm.
Right.
You are either existing in the absolute serene perfection of the left side, or you are burning in the apocalyptic inferno of the right side.
And that lack of a gradient is exactly what I struggled with initially.
How so?
Well, because as humans, we live our entire lives in the gradient. We exist in the gray area.
We do.
Think about a mundane Tuesday.
Okay.
You are at an airport sitting at gate C22.
The worst.
Right. Your flight is delayed by 45 minutes. The terminal is slightly too cold, and your sandwich is way overpriced.
A very standard experience.
Exactly. Now, that scenario is not a lush paradise with a cascading waterfall, but it certainly isn't a violently erupting volcano either.
No, it isn't.
We live at gate C22. The image completely ignores the reality of that mundane middle ground.
I would argue that the exclusion of gate C22 is a highly deliberate provocation by the artist.
A provocation.
Yes, the gray area is where we find our comfort, but more importantly, it is where we hide our excuses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When things are just okay or even mildly annoying, we do not feel the urgency to change our internal state.
We just put up with it.
Exactly. By visually eliminating the mundane middle ground, the artist is preparing you for the absolute nature of the quote that sits on top of it.
Removing the safety net.
Precisely. The extreme visual binary strips away all the nuance and noise of daily life to force a very stark realization about our baseline internal states.
Yeah.
It demands that you classify your reality without the comfort of saying, well, it could be worse.
That makes the visual layout a psychological trap in a way. It corners you before you even begin to read.
It really does.
Speaking of reading, let's move to the text itself, because the words overlaid on this intense background are where the concept of radical accountability really kicks in.
This is where it gets heavy.
It does. The first two lines read, quote, "If you suffer, it's because of you. If you feel blissful, it's because of you."
Such a direct statement.
It is. And my immediate reaction to those words was highly defensive.
I think everyone's is.
Right. It entirely removes all external factors from the equation of how we feel. My mind immediately went to the real-world variables, bad luck, systemic issues, toxic people.
Of course.
But the text seems to suggest those things simply do not matter.
It is an incredibly confronting statement, and it is entirely natural to feel defensive upon reading it.
I felt like I was being attacked.
Because we spend a vast majority of our daily cognitive energy attributing our internal states to external events.
Give me an example.
Well, going back to your airport analogy, the delayed flight at gate C22 made me frustrated.
Right.
Or the sunny weather made me cheerful. The rude comment from a colleague ruined my afternoon.
We do that constantly.
We do. This text acts as an unforgiving mirror. Notice the rhythm created by the repetition of the phrase, because of you.
Because of you, because of you.
Exactly. It is not just a statement, it is a drumbeat that physically forces the reader to look inward over and over again, completely denying them the opportunity to look outward for a scapegoat.
The word choice really stands out to me as well.
In what way?
Well, the creator chose the word blissful instead of happy.
That's true.
Happiness feels like a transient atmospheric condition. You can be happy because you found a $20 bill in your pocket.
It's fleeting.
Right. Bliss, on the other hand, implies a profound, almost structural equilibrium. It feels deeply internal.
I like that distinction.
And suffering is the same way. It isn't just having a bad day, it is an internal state of anguish.
Yes.
The text is demanding that we view these deep structural states not as weather patterns that roll in and ruin our day, but as outcomes we are actively generating.
You have hit on the core mechanism of the philosophy right there. The phrasing fundamentally shifts the paradigm of human emotion.
How so?
It argues that suffering and bliss are not things that happen to you. They are environments generated by you.
Wow. Generated by you.
Let's apply this back to your airport analogy.
Okay, let's do it.
The delayed flight is simply a neutral external event. The suffering you experience while waiting is the volcano you are actively building in your own mind through impatience, entitlement, or a lack of acceptance.
That is a terrifying amount of responsibility to shoulder.
It is terrifying, but simultaneously, it is a deeply empowering proposition.
Because if you build it, you can take it down.
Exactly. If you are the generator of your suffering, you possess the inherent capacity to stop generating it.
Well, if the landscape is the trap we build for ourselves, the artist thankfully does not leave us stranded there without a mechanism for escape.
No, they don't.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's look at the visual and textual anchor of the entire piece.
The center of the image.
Yes, right beneath those first two lines, floating horizontally dead center in the image, is a glowing, ornate, golden key.
It's impossible to miss.
It really is. And the text directly references it, stating, "No one else hold the key, it's you who holds it."
A crucial line.
It is, but before we discuss the symbolism, I have to bring up the grammar.
Ah, yes. The phrasing.
The line reads, "No one else hold the key," instead of "holds."
Right.
When I first noticed that, it completely pulled me out of the experience. I viewed it as a distracting typo that undermined the philosophical weight of the piece.
It's funny you say that because my interpretation of that grammatical imperfection goes in the opposite direction entirely.
Really? Tell me more.
That specific detail, whether it was intentional or an organic mistake, actually serves a vital function.
What function?
It strips away any sense of sterile academic detachment.
Oh, I see.
If this were a perfectly polished quote from a textbook, it would feel distant, theoretical. The slightly broken grammar gives the piece a remarkably raw, unpolished, personal feel.
Like it's coming from a real person.
Exactly. It feels like a direct, urgent, almost breathless message from the creator, Ivashvili.
That makes a lot of sense.
It is as if they experienced this profound, sudden realization and felt compelled to throw it onto the canvas immediately to share it with you without even pausing to run it through a copy editor. It breaks the fourth wall.
Viewing it as a marker of raw authenticity does change how the message lands.
It makes it visceral.
It feels less like a lecture and more like an urgent note passed to you by someone who just figured out how to pick the lock.
That's a great way to put it.
Let's look closely at the visual placement and the aesthetics of that key, though.
Okay.
It is positioned perfectly horizontal, right in the center, and it literally bridges the two extreme landscapes.
It's the only thing crossing the boundary.
Right. The teeth of the key are pointing toward the lush, heavenly side, while the handle rests over the fiery, hellish side.
Bridging the gap.
Yes, it serves as the literal bridge between absolute suffering and absolute bliss. Furthermore, it is an ornate, almost antique-looking golden key, rather than a modern, mechanical house key.
The choice of an ornate key implies that the wisdom it represents is ancient and fundamental.
Not a modern trend.
Right, it's not a modern productivity hack or a new psychological trick. And think about the function of a key.
It opens things.
It is a tool of access, but also restriction. The horizontal placement is highly significant.
Why is horizontal important?
A horizontal key is a key that has been inserted into the lock but has not yet been turned.
Oh, wow.
The potential is there, the tool's in this position, but the action is still required.
You still have to do the work.
Exactly. The fact that it bridges the two landscapes indicates that the mechanism to move from hell to heaven, or to accidentally lock yourself in hell, is exactly the same tool.
And then there's the glow.
Yes, the lighting is key here.
Yeah. In the middle of all this visual chaos, the bright, piercing sun on the left and dark smoke and intense fire on the right, the key emits its own distinct, self-contained, magical light.
It stands out.
That glow suggests to me that the realization of agency, the sheer awareness that you possess the tool, is the crucial light in the darkness of human ignorance.
It eliminates the choice.
Right. You aren't just trapped in a burning landscape waiting for a rescue team. The escape mechanism is hovering right in front of you.
The glow draws your eye, precisely because it is the only element in the image that represents potential rather than a fixed state.
Explain that.
Well, the waterfall is a fixed state. The lava is a fixed state. They just exist as they are.
Okay.
But the key is pure, unactivated potential. And as the text insists, the viewer is the only entity capable of turning it.
The realization of agency is illuminating.
But it also carries the full weight of the consequences, which leads us to the final and arguably most difficult portion of the artwork.
So, what does this all mean? How do we integrate the visual extremes, the text on suffering, and the glowing key?
We have to look at the conclusion of the text.
Right. The final two lines bring the conceptual hammer down. They read, "You make your own heaven or hell, no one else to blame."
Such a powerful ending.
It is this moment where the internal philosophy is explicitly mapped onto the external visual landscape.
Right.
Earlier, the text discussed internal feelings, suffer, and blissful. Now, those internal feelings are externalized and given physical form as heaven or hell.
Bringing the inside out.
Yes, it is stating that the world you perceive yourself walking through every single day is a world of your own architectural design.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we must closely analyze the final word chosen by the creator.
The word blame.
Yes, no one else to blame. That is an exceptionally heavy, hostile word.
It is very abrasive.
It is rarely used in a positive or even neutral context. The creator could have easily used a softer, more clinical word like responsible.
No one else is responsible.
Exactly. But blame is confrontational. It carries a sting.
This sting is undeniable. When you read the word blame, it feels like an accusation.
It does.
It actively challenges the narrative we construct to protect our egos.
Yeah.
The artwork is aggressively attacking the comfort of victimhood.
And victimhood is very comfortable.
Being a victim, feeling like the world is a chaotic place doing terrible things to you, is oddly soothing.
Because it relieves you of the burden of fixing it.
Exactly. If my suffering is someone else's fault, then it is their obligation to fix it.
Not yours.
Right. If the lava destroying my environment is my boss's fault, or the economy's fault, I get to just sit on my charred rock and be righteously angry. I don't have to figure out how to put the fire out.
By ending the entire piece on the word blame, Ivashevicki completely shuts down that protective psychological mechanism.
It's gone.
It ruthlessly strips away the cozy blanket of the blame game. The artwork establishes a closed loop of accountability.
A closed loop. I like that.
If you were standing in an internal hell, you built it.
Yeah.
If you were standing in an internal heaven, you built that too.
Total ownership.
It demands total unflinching ownership of the landscape. It forces you to recognize that your righteous anger about the lava is actually the fuel keeping the volcano active.
It is a profoundly difficult philosophy to internalize.
Especially when confronting genuine hardship.
Oh, absolutely. But I think the true brilliance of this piece is how it balances that harsh reality with the glowing key.
It offers a way out.
Yes. It doesn't just tell you that you are at fault for your suffering, it insists that you are entirely capable of ending it.
The message is not about helplessness.
Not at all. It is about immense, almost terrifying power. Radical accountability is a double-edged sword, but both edges are designed to cut you free from dependency.
That is the ultimate synthesis of the piece. When you fully accept that no one else is to blame for your suffering, you simultaneously unlock the realization that you do not need anyone else's permission, assistance, or apology to find your bliss.
You are free.
You do not have to wait for the person who wronged you to make it right. You do not have to wait for your circumstances to improve.
Because you already hold the key.
Exactly. The horizontal placement implies the choice is yours, right now, in this exact moment, to turn it.
To bring all these intricate threads together, this digital artwork by Ivashevicki utilizes a brilliant combination of stark visual extremes and raw, unpolished text to deliver an uncompromising mandate about total internal control.
It is incredibly cohesive.
By eliminating the comfortable gray areas of our visual and psychological landscapes, the image paints a picture of our extreme internal potential. A serene, cascading paradise on one side and a fiery, volcanic inferno on the other.
Two absolute extremes.
The core thesis, hammered home by the rhythmic text and the hovering golden key, is that these are not places we stumble into by accident or are pushed into by circumstance.
We build them.
The piece insists, with absolute authority, that we are the sole architects of whichever landscape we currently inhabit. The key of agency is entirely in our hands, and there's no one else to blame for the world we construct around ourselves.
It serves as a masterclass in the economy of visual communication and philosophical directness.
It really does.
It refuses to coddle the viewer. It confronts them, dismantles their excuses, and hands them the responsibility for their own salvation.
We want to turn this directly to you, the listener. Take a moment to genuinely evaluate the landscape you are mentally standing in today, right at this very moment.
Look closely at your internal world.
Are you surrounded by cool waters, sunlight, and a sense of structural bliss? Or are you choking on ash, dodging lava, and generating your own suffering?
Hard question to ask.
And more importantly, if you find yourself in the fire, are you holding the key but still scanning the horizon, looking for someone else to blame for the heat?
Or waiting for a rescue.
Exactly. Conversely, if you are experiencing a beautiful, serene day, are you giving the credit to a lucky break or a good cup of coffee instead of acknowledging that you built that piece yourself?
It is a highly challenging exercise in self-reflection.
It really is.
It requires a brutal level of honesty to look at your own mental anguish and declare, I am the author of this.
But as the intricate details of the artwork suggest, that uncomfortable honesty is the only friction that allows the key to turn in the lock.
Well said.
We are going to leave you with one final thought to mull over as you go about the rest of your day, continually building your reality.
Something to take with you.
This image strongly asserts that we are the absolute sole creators of our own internal heaven or hell.
We hold the key.
Right. But what happens when we step out of isolation and interact with others?
Oh, that's an interesting angle.
Do our individual keys only unlock the doors to our own isolated internal minds? Or does the heaven or hell we create for ourselves inevitably spill over the borders?
It's hard to imagine it doesn't.
Think about it. Does the lava from your unmanaged, self-generated internal hell start burning the people standing next to you?
Does your heaven create shade for someone else?
Consider how your radical accountability, the total lack of it, shapes not just your internal landscape, but the very real world of everyone you touch. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.